All right, what is up? We are back. It's a very special day. I feel like I haven't seen these folks in forever. Up first, all the way from the Jersey Shore, it is peak road racing season. She is riding the line every single weekend to find out where that LT2 is. We've got Michelle Navarro, fresh off. Did you run a 10K yesterday, Michelle?
I did some zone 3 work, so about like 7 miles of zone 3 work. So
the old 7-miler.
Yep.
The old 7-miler. Zara Piergiani ran a 7-miler recently, blazing fast time. Good company, Michelle. And then all the way from the other side of the pond, your favorite HYROX analyst and mine. That's right. We've got Greg from the Rocks Life. Greg, we're fighting relegation over at Tottenham. How are you doing?
I'm good, but we're trying to find managers. It's a bad state of affairs.
It is bad. It is real bad. And then all the way from Colorado Springs, Colorado, the red bearded wonder, your favorite stats man and mine, Jack Bauer. Jack, how are we doing today?
Hey, not too bad. I did that same zone 3 work that Michelle did. The only thing is she loves pavement. I get scared of it, so I hit the trails.
A
lot extra of work on those trails.
Yeah, 1,000 feet of vert. That's real good for HYROX.
A lot of vert. A lot of people spending time on the inclines. A lot of people on stair steppers.
Dylan Scott does like hour runs at 12%. Like
Dylan Scott, Ryan Kent, Charlie Bottrell spending like 8 hours a week on a stair stepper. I mean, people are out there. We're out here. Well, you all know what time it is. We got this group assembled. That can only mean one thing. It is time to update our top 5 power rankings ahead of Brisbane and Warsaw. But before we do, we had some racing this weekend. My God, London Olympia finally finished. The race that would never end. Greg, how many days was it? 10?
9.
9 days. I mean, that is just so much racing. We've already covered the elites, so we will just finish off with the pro men and women. Your top 5 men from HYROX London. Stop me if you've heard this name before. Charlie Bottrell coming in with a 55.02. Yannick Chopla securing 100 points, 55.43. Fergus Jenkins, 56.06. Kyle Schoonby, 56.26. And Jamie Pratt rounding out your top 5 with a 56.46. Notably, we had 24 men sub 60. Europe is the place to be. That field is deep. Imagine getting, I'm actually looking at this right now, in the 25 to 29 age group, Jacques, I don't even know how you say his last name, ran a 57.20, and that was good enough for 3rd place in his age group.
Wild.
Age group. That is insane. On the women's side, your top 5, Saskia Millard coming back a week later, dropping a blazing, I can't even believe I'm about to say this, 57.26. I have to look just for the sake of, this is only her 3rd pro solo race ever. She ran London in 2025, dropped to 65.51. She ran Glasgow earlier this year, ran a 62.01. I believe, though, keep me honest, I think she had some penalties. She cleaned all of that up for a 57.26. Total run time was 26.56. Rock Zone 3.26. So what is that, Jack? Like 30.22 total run time?
Yeah, looks like about 30.30. So yeah, she's moving.
And her station's pretty good. 427 ski, 232 push, 337 pull, 320 broad jump, 425 row, 144 farmers, 256 sandbag lunges, 403 wall balls. I'm going to ask the question. I mean, I don't know where she's at in terms of her running career. She's still a very high, she's a professional runner currently. And if you're a professional runner currently dropping a 57 mid, if she makes the transition, are we looking at the next Joanna Wetrick?
I mean, what an exciting performance. Just being able to clean up after the pro doubles race and run that I mean, yeah, the sky's the limit for someone like her. That's incredible.
Yeah, very exciting. And she done like 7.5 minutes on the wall balls in Glasgow. So she's cleaned that up a lot in a relatively short period of time.
4:03.
And by all accounts, I was talking to Holly Archer before their race in London, and like by all accounts, like she's barely training for HYROX. I think it's like maybe one session a week at the moment at the most. So the fact she's done that time on minimal training is incredible.
I mean,
I think you and Lauren said that she barely touches stations.
Yeah, she does, and she doesn't get time. Like she's training to be a runner. I think she's full-time working. She just doesn't get the time, but she's done phenomenal.
Yeah, and if you look at the split in doubles, realistically they had penalties and stuff, but it was a 6-minute wall ball and she went 4:03. So you take away what they have 90 seconds of penalties. She basically did wall balls faster under a week later than she and Holly did as a team. So clearly the improvement's there.
It's really good. It's really good. She is going to be problematic. Rounding out your top 5, Annie Emelson, 58:02. This is also a very impressive race. Only her 3rd pro race all time. She ran Stockholm 61:10. She followed that up in Copenhagen earlier this year with a 60:07, and then dropping this 58:02. The depth of the women's field is just, it's filling out, and it's filling out quickly. Lucy Proctor getting her first sub 60 with a 59:18. And then rounding out your top 5, Lauren Stockley, 60:45, and Malene Peterson, 60:46. Again, pretty crazy. We had a sub 61, which was only good enough for 7th. So again, the women's field is really coming along. That wrapped up 9 days of racing in London. We will quickly touch on the doubles in this race because we had an exciting battle. Charlie Bottrell and Jake Williamson, 48:55, followed by Ronan Lindsay and Sean Noble, 49:27. Those could be names to watch next year whenever we move over to nationalities. And then Hakan Burton and Michael Stevens with a 50:24. Those were your top 3 men's doubles teams. On the women's side, Becky Beach and Alice Jones with a very strong 55:39. Poppy Jones and Paige Somerton, 55:51. And Yolanda King and Laura Ariete, 56:52. Again, it's just kind of, it's nutty to say some of these times at this point. It's just getting absurd. We also raced over in Belgium. Your top 5 men. Coming in first place, Julian Solomon, 54:13. Martin Enthoven, 54:40. Sam Schumann, 55:12. Pelayo Menendez Fernandez, 55:12. And then Emil Matthews rounding out your top 5 with the 56:40. And then on the women's side, we had Lena Putters, 59:07, Ombre Karam, 60:59, and Caroline Carpentier, 62:41, Laura Germani, 64:07, and rounding out your top 5, Dagmar von Eyck, 64:17. On the doubles, your top 5 men, the Sutherland brothers, 49:48, Kim Terberg and Martin Enthoven, 50:09, John Nicholas Frederic and Lucas Zajans, 51:10. That was your top 3. And then on the women's side, we had Isa Tolkins and Michaela Disseldorp, 58 flat. The Van den Lindenloof sisters, 58:36. Heidi White and Alice English, 61:31. That was your top 3 over in Belgium. And then here in the States, we had the largest U.S. race of all time. What did it wind up being? It was somewhere in the ballpark of, I know this is a wide range, but it was either like I can't remember. I think I just saw the numbers. It was either like 17,000 or 22,000 across 4 days. It's absurd. There's a lot of people. Your top 5, Jack Driscoll with his 5th win of the season, 56:18, followed by his former doubles partner, Ryan Douglas, 56:37, Colin Steefer, 57:07, Stephen Pelkoffer, 57:14, Isaac Sanderson, 57:37. That is your top 5. And then your top 5 women, Rachel Wade, 60:34. Chris Rogloski, this is a big PR for Chris, 62:04. Kat Fossbender, 63:10. Brittany Weiss, this is also a big PR, 63:20. Carolyn Watkins rounding out your top 5, 63:41. I feel like there's a lot of storylines here on the women's side. I mean, Rachel Wade, this is only her third race. She started off the season in Atlanta, 65.49, followed that up in Vegas with a 61.01, and now 60.34. I mean, I think we were saying that the next group of women on the women's side were Morgan and Kat, but Rachel Wade is now firmly in that conversation as an American female to watch out for on the American circuit going into next season.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot really everywhere. I mean, we're just kind of seeing this like trajectory of all of these athletes getting better and better. It's unfortunate we're going to have to wait for some of them in the majors because they weren't able to get in with the time constraints. But man, it's going to be exciting to continue to see. It just seems like it's continuing to snowball.
I mean, Chris with another PR in second place. She's trending in the right direction. We're not really seeing her out doing ultras like she used to. So it looks like she might be focused really on HYROX this season. And I mean, the times are there. It's really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think we've talked about this before. Would Chris specialize or would she not? And I think we were all in agreement that she wouldn't. But we don't see her out there running a bunch of other races. This does seem to be what she's focused on. And I mean, that's serious improvement to 62.04. She's working with the hybrid engine. I mean, and Chris is still, for someone who has raced 60 times, which is just like wild to say, like Chris is still relatively on the young side of the sport. I think that, you know, she's a name that has been around forever in OCR and hybrid fitness, but I mean, she's still got a long way to go before she's at her peak. So another person to watch out for. And then Brittany Weiss is an interesting one to me. She is a high level teams athlete from the games. And now she has gone seemingly all in on HYROX. She started off this season this season with Anaheim with the 70.03, and she quickly dropped 5 minutes in Vegas with a 65.28. Now she follows this up with a 63.20, and she ran a sub 59 pro doubles. This is also going to be someone to watch out for. She's got that high level competitive background. She hasn't been doing this very long. You know, probably getting some newbie gains and who knows what she's doing, but it would definitely be someone to watch out for next season.
Yeah, just before we end this, but real quick back to Chris. I think you said 60 races for her, 67 for Charlie. How have they never crossed paths at a race? They're, you know, teamed up. I think we need to start a petition to get them to do a mixed doubles one of these races because they'll probably be at the same venue soon.
I don't think they should do a mixed doubles. I think that they should do a HYROX Ultra mixed doubles. I think that we should see how long can Chris and Charlie go together doing a mixed doubles to just get them out on the course.
Last man standing.
Man standing, yeah, just together. We'll just see what happens.
I've got money on Chris.
And then on the doubles, your top three men's teams: Marcus Wallace, Dawson Miller, friends of the show. 50-47 with a 30-second penalty. Dawson, fix your leg extension. Colin Steefer and Ryan Kent, 51-56. And then Graham Warren and Chris Hassold, 54-16. And then on the women's side, Kat Fossbender, Morgan Scholes collecting another 105 points, 55-52. Brittany Weiss and Erica Tvedten, 58-47. Jack Driscoll, if I said that name wrong, please tell her I'm sorry. And please correct me. Nadine Fidel and Katya Rombach, 59.03, rounding out your top three. I was in HYROX Houston this weekend. Honestly, probably one of my favorite setups. They did it a little bit differently this time. They knocked down one of those walls in the convention center. So they had the area where all the vendors were, where the shop was. That's where the surf, you could ride the bull was. It's where athlete registration was. They had a little like seating area in the middle, and then you could go and take a walkway over into the race area. It was very well laid out. Thought that it was very nicely done. It would not be a race brain episode if we didn't have a little bit of controversy though. So we do have to bring it up. We have fixed the fact that we are moving away from times, which is a good thing. However, it was laid bare this weekend that there is still in 2026, we are talking about sled inconsistencies. And I think that having been there and having raced a pro race, I watched this happen in real time. I mean, there were some people that were just getting buried right next to me. Other people, it was flying. I think the most obvious example of this is Lauren Weeks and Dylan Scott took a crack at the mixed doubles world record, and they had a 2-minute flat mixed doubles sled push. That is not very good for mixed doubles, and I do not think that that is not a reflection of Dylan and or Lauren. Dylan is not necessarily the best athlete when it comes to the push, but watching Dylan Scott struggle to push an open weight does not make any sense. When Lauren got on it, it did not seem like it moved. Go ahead, Michelle.
No, I was just going to ask, do you know if it was like the bunching of the carpet or was it something else unforeseen? I know in the past we've seen, the bunching of the carpet be a problem. I don't know if it was that or not.
Well, here's my theory. My theory is it had everything to do with humidity. It was very humid this weekend in Houston. I think on Friday, I think the humidity percentage was like 93%, 94%. And you could feel that in the venue. So even though the venue was very cool, I mean, I do sweat a lot, but I was soaked. When I got to wall balls, I have never been that, like, it was like I had just gotten out of a shower. That's like how wet I was. And I did not rapid cool or do anything like that. Like, it was very damp. At one point, they actually brought fans out and put them along the wall to blow onto the carpets. So I think it was a humidity issue. But this was a known thing in Houston. The first 5 lanes of sled push were not very good. We saw some elite athletes try to do some gamesmanship to get better lanes. If you go to the men's race specifically, I believe, Jack, keep me honest if you want to pull this up in the back. I believe Jack Driscoll came into the sled push in 8th and left first. And it was like a minute swing over. And just for the record, before people think that we're just complaining here, we have now seen a lot of these men, Ryan Douglas, Colin Stiefer, Ryan Kent, Jack Driscoll, we have seen them race each other a fair bit this season. So we do have a pretty good idea of, where they're going to be. A minute swing on the sled push against guys who were typically very equal tells you that there was something that was off. Dylan Scott and Lauren Weeks having a 1-minute push tells you that 2-minute push tells you that something was off. So I hate bringing up things without a solution because I don't have a solution, but I will say Dylan made a post about this, I believe, yesterday, and he brought up a fair point. We've done the right thing by moving away from times, but if we can't guarantee consistency, it seems rather unfair that someone might just get starched by a sled lane and then, there goes their shot at 105 points. The panel's thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing when the entire arena has the same situation. So like humidity, for example, if everyone is experiencing that, then obviously times don't make sense. And it's good that we're getting away from them because you're just doing it based off of the competition. Everyone has the same situation, but it definitely sounds like the sleds were inconsistent. So yeah, it's unfortunate that we're still seeing that. Not really sure what the solution is though.
I think they're definitely working on it. I'm low on details, but we were told it was before DC or Phoenix that something was coming soon, and I think it's like a new underside to the sled. So I think they can it might go on like some sort of rail or something like that. So that they can easily replace that. So I think that is coming, but I don't know any more details or when it is happening.
I mean, every other zone it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Material, it's just coefficient of friction. You can have a super heavy sled, but you change the coefficient of friction, it'll get lighter or heavier depending on how easy it is to pull. And that's just that paint versus carpet, balance right there. How's that looking? But yeah, it's something they definitely need to work out. And Matt, Michelle and I did doubles in Houston last year. We went 135. Then in Chicago World Champs, we went 202. And you started this off by saying 2 flat, which is not a good time for a mixed doubles. And I'm like, ouch, that hurt.
It's not a good time. It's not a good time for arguably the best female on the planet and one of the top 5 men on the planet.
I'm just teasing you. Yeah, we were in the background of that video of the guy who was freaking out over the bad push. So I know what it's like in the bad lane.
Here's some data for you. Colin Stiefer has run 12 men's pro races. This is going to be slightly skewed because of this weekend. In those 12 races, his average sled push is 242. His slowest is just this past weekend, which is 310. Jack Driscoll, for comparison, if we look at this. Jack's average sled push is 235, but this weekend he pushed it in 209. So that just goes to show the disparity in the lanes. I trust that they will get it right, or at least do something to help mitigate it. Here's the deal: it's never going to be perfect. Racing is racing. There's always going to be luck of the draw. But we definitely don't want to see, a race swung like that, because again, like it does make a difference. If you spend one more minute than your opponent on the sled push, that is an extra minute of tax on your body. And it does not just equal a minute. We know that it's, that can rear its ugly head later in the race. So appreciate all the love down in Houston. A lot of people came up and said, "What's up?" I'm still handing out stickers. We got 10,000 of them, John, as the boy Rich Ryan says. So if you need stickers, find us at a local race. We'll get going. All right.
It makes some of those times, if it was that humid in the venue as well, it makes some of those times that we just went through, like Rachel Wade's time of an hour, like it makes that all the more impressive, because if it's super,
Absolutely.
It was very humid.
And Matt, you can't just give a 10-second recap on your race. People who weren't there, who didn't get a chance to talk to you, they want to know how it went.
It went good. People will be happy to know. I had a couple people reach out. I'm not going to quit. I will one day, but today is not that day. Yeah, honestly, it went really well. The goal was just to attack the runs and to give myself a shot. And actually, I got to talk to Colin Steeper when my race got done, and he gave me some really good perspective. So for those of you that have been following along, I'm on the journey to break 70 in a pro, and I believed that I was right there, and that I would eventually get it, and that the last couple of races were not indicative of my fitness. And I was close, 70-32, a little 4-second PR. But the most important thing is I came into wall balls at 64-30. So I gave myself a shot. Now, for those of you that can do math, that means it took me 6 minutes to do wall balls. That was not great. But my running was really, really consistent. Rich Ryan even called my running pacing elite. These are my splits: 2 through 7, 407, 405, 403, 403, 402, 402, and then the dreaded run 8, 413. So I was feeling
elite
good
to me.
Yeah, I was clearing lactate. I think looking back, like I really do just feel proud about the effort. I know that I put the work in, and like I said, I gave myself a chance. In wall balls, it did not go well, and I could give you all the reasons why it didn't go well, but no one cares, and it doesn't matter. You will definitely see me wearing gloves from now on. I had 15 no reps that are not like no reps, if that makes sense. So it wasn't for depth. I just straight up airballed, because my hands were so wet. Like I would throw it, and so I'd go to depth, and then I would throw it to the right height, but I don't know if it's because it was slipping out of my hands, but it wasn't actually touching the sensor. So and then if you've ever done that, the ball comes down funny, right? Because you get used to like the rebound off, and like you get into a cadence, and like that kept throwing me off. And so I got to figure that out, but clean it up. We're going to go north of the border. We're going to go to Canada, head up with the homie Rich, go race Ottawa. And we're going to get that 68. I'm calling it. Never do 6-minute wall balls again. Although I say that, and I'll wind up doing like a 7-minute wall ball.
Matt, it seemed like the shoes worked out really well for you with those.
Yeah, look, the homie Rich has been telling people the Rebellion. I always mess this up. No, WRP. Wait, is it Rebellion Wave Pro Low?
Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro Low.
Wave Rebellion Pro Low.
Flows off the tongue.
You do not need to be a 4-foot striker for them. I starched the sleds. I had the 36 fastest sled pull. Pretty good. Of 360. That's not bad.
And came off running fast.
Absolutely.
Came off running fast.
Very impressive.
As Rich said,
that's the first time I've ever run my run 4. I've accelerated. Never happened before.
It's awesome.
If you didn't listen to Rich's most recent episode, he said sled pull is the most important station out there right now. Matt crushed that and crushed the run after. All the foundations there. Ottawa
threshold, volume. That is the name of the game, and it is working for me. May not work for everybody, but it is currently working for me. All right, let's get to what the people actually care about. which is the top 5. And while I'm pulling up the wheel of names, I do appreciate all of you that are invested in my journey as much as I am. The messages this weekend were very kind, and we will get it. All right. We're going to wheel of names this, and then we're going to get to the main event. All right. First up to give us their top 5 list is... Ooh, this is getting really close. Ooh, Michelle. Giving us their list second, the voice of HYROX, the Rocks Life, Greg. All right, I will be going third.
Looks like I'm last.
All right, and Jack, since you were last pick, I'll give you the choice. Do you want to start men or women?
We just saw a world record in the men's race. Let's start with men.
All right, you want to share your screen, and then I will turn it over to Michelle.
All righty. And we've been doing this just listing them off, right?
Yeah, we're just going to list out
all.
all. You'll list your 5, Greg will list his 5, I'll list my 5, then Jack, and then we'll debate it.
All righty. So top 5 men for me. In the 5th spot, I have Hunter. 4 spot, I have Hitty. 3, Dylan. 2, Tim. And 1, Ronk.
It's a good list.
This is definitely the toughest top 5 I've done in a while.
Greg.
Is it me?
Yes,
it's you, Greg.
So I would go. I agree. This is the toughest we've had, but
yep.
I've got Hunter in 5th, Dylan in 4th, Hidda in 3rd, Tim in 2nd, and Alex in 1st.
All right. I've got Cole Learn in 5th. I've got Dylan Scott in 4th. Hidda Wiersma in 3rd. Alexander Ronkovich in 2nd. Tim Vinish in 1st.
All right. And in 5th, I've got Dylan Scott, 4, Cole Learn, 3, Alexander Ronkovich, 2, Hidda Wiersma, and 1, Tim Vinish. We are not even close to each other.
This is good. It's been a while since we've had a little debate. All right. So I think we should probably start with, let's do the reverse order. So let's start with the 5 spot. So Jack and I both have Cole. Michelle and Greg do
Hunter.
not. And so,
they have Hunter.
Yeah, so it's Hunter. So it's Hunter versus Cole.
Want to throw up the side by side?
Yeah,
Go for it.
All right. So Hunter and Cole. That's the head-to-head. So Cole just won the DC Regional, 7th in Phoenix Major, 6th in Melbourne. Hunter beat him in Melbourne head-to-head. Didn't have he decided to skip the Phoenix Major and then went after that doubles world record and then ended up running solo the next day. But here are their most recent races in the past 12 months.
So I can start it off. I guess my vote for Hunter versus Cole. I mean, truthfully, this is challenging, and it's exciting to have the regionals, but it also makes it a bit more challenging just because we don't have the entire fields racing against each other in each of those. But it's still a tremendous accomplishment to have won the race. So I think this is a valid vote to have Cole in here because that was such an impressive performance against that field. I think I just went with Hunter here because of the performances in the majors where you had all of the regions overall. And he basically almost won in Melbourne against Tim, but just had the penalties that knocked him back a bit. So that's kind of still fresh in my mind. He still had a great performance in Phoenix, even though he just did it in the pro versus doing the actual elite race. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at.
All right, I'll make the counter argument. I'll make the argument for Cole. I went with Cole over Hunter because for me, I'm thinking about this as power rankings. And for whatever reason, in the back of my mind, I still keep going back to this. Does anybody remember the last elite race that Hunter McIntyre won?
Brisbane, right there.
December 23.
It's December of 23.
Elite race? Yeah.
It has been, we are approaching 2.5 years since Hunter has won an elite race. Now, is Hunter the greatest of all time? Yes. Could Hunter come out and smash everybody in the world championship this year? Yes, 100%. And I wouldn't doubt it. I would not bet against him. Like I said on last week's episode, I think I would just probably take the field. I wouldn't put my money on anybody because this is very tight. But he hasn't won. He hasn't beaten Tim. He hasn't beaten, like, I mean, there are other people that have been in these elite races that have won, and it's always something. And yes, Cole won a regional, but he nearly set the world record at the time. And he did beat Dylan Scott, who we all agree is on this list, who's a top 5 athlete right now. And he also beat Rich Ryan, who, if I had to guess, if we rolled this thing down to 6 or 7, Rich probably makes a couple, if not all of the lists. So Cole has won these races. And Hunter did run Phoenix against Dylan Scott. Dylan Scott beat him in his 3rd race of the weekend. And then Cole beat Dylan. So I just feel like right now I need to see Hunter win a race. Basically, if you look at the rest of our list, all of us have an athlete who has won a major and or a regional in the last 12 months. Definitely the last 6.
Greg, you want
Maybe
to
not
counter
Dylan.
with Hunter?
When was Dylan's last major win?
I'll throw him up here. He was going to be part of my argument, realistically, because it's, if you look at head to head, like Cole most recently beat Dylan. He also beat him in the Phoenix major. So it's like, how can you have Dylan ahead of Cole and then Dylan also ahead of Hunter? Just the head to head looked a little off. I need to refresh this, but just go on, keep arguing.
I think Dylan's last major win was, I think it was Vegas in Jan 25. The truth is, I wrote down Hunter or Cole or Sean or Thomas, and I couldn't decide, so I went with Hunter at the time. So I can't decide the reality. I just think Cole, I maybe need to see Cole do it again, you know, to be convinced to put him 5th. Like he did it in DC for sure, but 7th in Phoenix, 6th in Melbourne, like good performances, but not out of this world. And I think Hunter would have beaten him on those days, like he did in Melbourne for sure, in that head to head, like just lost out on the win there really because of a penalty. He did okay in Phoenix in the solo age group race. Obviously lost to Dylan that day, like in a brilliant performance from Dylan, to be fair. So I agree with your point, Matt. He hasn't won a solo major in a long time now. He's been chasing doubles world records as well, and still actually hasn't even been able to do that either, to be honest, like despite having some very good partners. So there is certainly a question mark there. I just think for me, he just edges it over Cole, bearing in mind Cole's only done it like once, really.
I'm just looking at this right here. We have Dylan with the 12th, Hunter as an 8th. Cole's worst finish in any major was 7th. And Hunter didn't even show up to that major. Cole head-to-head, 2-1 against Dylan. Yes, Hunter ended up beating him in Australia, Melbourne at that major. But currently, I feel as though Cole should be ahead of Dylan at the moment. And I think that Dylan should be ahead of Hunter at the moment. So because of that most recent Phoenix day 2 race. So I feel as though Hunter would be number 6. That's just my logic.
Yeah, this is where I feel like it comes down to subjectivity. Because I went with people who I felt like were winning races. And I just haven't, it's just been so long since Hunter's won a race. And there's part of me that wonders, is that like some type of like mental hurdle? I don't know.
With Hunter, it's stepping on, white lines and getting dumb penalties. Like he could have won Melbourne for sure, but he didn't.
Yeah. Right, but he didn't. But I mean, we could make that same argument about Tim. The world record should probably actually be like 52-20 something. But Tim is notorious for Hunter stepping on lines. For Tim, it's burpees. I mean, you've got to clean that up. I mean, that's gonna, it's fine margins at the top. I guess I could, if I was going to go anyway, even though I've got him on my list. I hear Greg's argument of we've only seen Cole do it one time, but then we come back to the age-old question of like, these are power rankings.
He didn't just beat Dylan. He beat him by 1.2 minutes, like over a minute. That's a dominant win in DC, and that was very recent.
Yeah, and his times are dropping.
I was just gonna say
going
that
the right way.
You could say that his trajectory is definitely getting higher and higher. Like he's continuing to progress better and better towards the top, where we're kind of seeing like up and down from either Hunter or Dylan. So I could be swayed that Cole is trending in the right direction more so than the others, and therefore deserves that spot.
I can be swayed as well, in all honesty. I was very 50-50 on it.
3 names on the board, only 2 can stay. Who's getting kicked out? My vote's Hunter, just in the what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, I would agree. I think Cole should be the 5th spot.
I've been convinced. Yeah. Drop Hunter.
All right. Cole 5.
All right. Now, do you think that Cole should be behind Dylan if he's beat him 2 straight races in a row? That's my only point.
For me personally, I still have Dylan before him, but I think that is based off of the overall, that Dylan has been able to accomplish in majors. I think, like we were just saying, Cole's on a great progress towards the top. I don't know if I'm completely swayed that he is above Dylan at this point.
I'm willing to throw out Dylan's Phoenix performance as a blip, given the fact that he came back 2 nights later and dropped 4 minutes.
Right.
That's fair.
So yeah, I think this is probably right. Cole and then Dylan. So then I think it seems like.
So we're locking these in for 4 and 5. No one else
and then it
thinks
seems
Cole
like
should be
it
4.
would be pretty. Well, no, I guess it's not straightforward for 3 because we're all over the board on 3. It could be Hida. It could be Ronk.
I'll get their stats up there. Michelle.
Yeah, I think it's really between. I think it's really between Hida and Ronk because Michelle has Hida 4. That's the lowest that Hida is. But Jack, you have Ronk 3rd, which is the lowest that Ronk is.
Yeah. My thought, Hit is a complicated case right here. He set the world record. He should be number 1. But Tim was side by side with him and technically finished the race faster than him before having to wait for burpees. He had enough of a cushion, I believe, that if he did better burpees on, the rep that he was called on, he probably would have crossed the line first and been the new world record holder. But I feel like Hida needs the respect of setting that world record. And technically they ran faster than Alex's time. Alex was not in that race in London for solo. He did set the doubles world record with Tim, but I feel as though at the moment, Tim and Hida, what they did as solo athletes should be weighted a little higher.
I just think the wins that Ronk has very recently still put him up at the top. And because he wasn't in that race with them, it's difficult to not think that he would have been up there if not winning as well. So I'm not completely convinced that Ronk still shouldn't be before them.
Yeah, this is just me being consistent. After the Melbourne race, I said that Hunter was the best racer on the day. I think we had a spirited debate between me and Jack on can you be the best racer if you make penalties, which I hear. But if you go back and watch that race, the London race, with all due respect to Hida, and he deserves the world record, and Tim was a class athlete and professional, clapping for him, hyping the crowd up for him. Tim was the best athlete on the day. And it really wasn't all that close either. I also think, even though they are penalties, and I did say rules are rules, I think the staggered step rule, which we have heard is going to be gotten rid of after this season, they're going to fix it, is not an advantage. Tim was the best racer. The world record should be 52 mid, like almost even. So that's my argument for Tim being why I've got Tim where he's at. And then for Hida, the one thing that hesitates me to put him over Ronk or Tim would be, I just don't believe if it came down to it and these 5 guys all went into wall balls together at the same exact time, I don't think Hida wins. Like his wall balls are still enough of a question, even though he's got a world record. His wall balls are still enough of a question mark for me that if he came in with Alex Ronkovich, Alex is winning. And if Tim had only gotten 1 penalty, Tim might have still won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think with Hida is like, I also like to Greg's point, you just want to see someone do it multiple times. And I think we'll probably continue to see that from him. But I think with how Alex and Tim have raced in the past in the majors just this season, I feel like they are still above and are, fighting for a 1-2 spot.
If you look at Hida versus Tim, that's 2 straight races that Hida has beaten Tim head to head. I know that the penalty was involved in London, but he did beat him in Hamburg to get that podium spot. So
Tim's not an early season racer. That's Hunter McIntyre beer drinking season.
Yeah. But realistically, he's got his number 2 straight times. I feel like that.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of delay. I want to go to Greg because he's tried to chime in twice now.
Okay.
I
have the other screen
you're
pulled
good.
up, so I can't see everyone's reaction.
No, you're good. We're gonna throw it over to Greg.
I was just going to say, I think it would be unfair to knock Alex down below second, really, based on what he's done in the races that he's raced this season. Like, obviously, he wasn't in London, but he won Phoenix, nearly got the world record. He won in Hamburg, got the world record.
Right.
He beat Tim and Hida in Hamburg. So I think Alex at least deserves to be in the top 2. Like, I understand the argument for Tim, maybe would have broken the world record without the penalties. So maybe you could justify him being first based on what he did in Melbourne and London. But I think Alex has done enough to be top 2.
Just a quick aside. Do you know why he's not racing? Because where my mind goes, Greg, he's got to get points. Because right now, after Worlds, Chicago World Championship is going to fall off. He is going to race Warsaw. That'll get him his 3rd race. But then World Champs only gets him 4. So if he even wants to be in the first major, he's got to get another race.
Yeah, I don't know. He just said to me he was focused on Warsaw, but he just wanted to take the opportunity to do another doubles with Tim in London.
Yeah, I'm with Greg. I don't think. I guess I'd be curious, Jack. Why do you have Alex's 3rd?
Because he skipped London. I think if we saw him in London, he had the opportunity to beat both Tim and Hida and potentially set a new world record. Instead, now 2 guys have a faster time than him. I know the time. Trust me, I'm the guy who knows the courses are not the same. But the bottom line is they showed up that day. Alex was in the building. Hunter was in the building for Phoenix. He decided to only run doubles. We gave him a hard time for that. And I just think that right now, what we most recently saw from Tim and Hida have to be rewarded more than Alex. And
but
of course,
we did see Alex make up. We did see Alex make up
The
half
next
of the
day.
team that broke a world record that we thought would stand for a long time. And now I don't know that that world record will ever be broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. So
I'm fine with you guys moving Alex.
You're taking true power rankings.
Yeah, and it's, are you penalizing Alex for inactivity? Basically, that's what I'm doing. But
yeah, I might have if he
what's
didn't
he
run
done?
a 40. If he didn't run a 47 something in doubles.
Yeah.
So all right,
it's
hit
not
a third.
total inactivity.
Yeah.
So you want to keep it how it is, probably.
Yeah, unless anyone has an argument for
Well,
Tim
then
over
then it
Ronk.
comes. Yeah, so then it's me and you, Jack, versus Greg and Michelle. Again, my argument for Tim is that Melbourne race. He beat everybody except for Ronk. Or I shouldn't say everybody because I guess Dylan wasn't in that race. But that was a pretty, still a pretty strong race. Hunter was in that race. JK was in that race. He came out with the win. And then I still feel like when I watched him race that London race, penalties aside, I literally had the thought, I don't know if Ronk and Hunter are in this race, I don't think it's a different result. Like he just looked head and shoulders above everybody on the day.
I'm going to bring back your argument before, though. If all of these top men enter wall balls at the same time, who do you think is going to finish first?
Alex.
Right.
Well, not Tim. I would go Alex, Hunter, or Cole. But the way that Tim ran, I don't know that they come in together at the wall balls.
I mean, I feel like we've seen Ronk either leading or be with the lead, into wall balls. So I don't see why that would be any different. So that's where I'm headed. And he just has the strongest finish. So I feel like Ronk is capable of running with the top, which would be, Tim in this case, in this argument. And then he would finish stronger.
Yeah. So I'm looking.
How about to settle this debate? Who were you more impressed with during their doubles race?
Well, right. Exactly.
So Tim's, and again, I know the courses are not the same, but Tim's total run time in London was 35 seconds faster than Ronk. So now, was the course short, or was the race line short? That's what I actually think it was. I don't think the course was short. I just think that the line that the racers took was different than the race line that they measured. That's my personal opinion. What are they against each other? See, that's the thing. They're 1-on-1 against each other.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, splitting hairs here.
We're splitting hair. To be clear, we're splitting hairs on all of these people.
Right.
I don't necessarily know that I don't know that I currently believe that they're head and shoulders above Hida. I don't believe they're head and shoulders above Dylan.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is tight. And honestly, if we took this thing down to 7th or 8th, I think it's pretty tight. I legit think that there are 7 or 8 people that could win worlds, which is crazy. I don't think we've ever felt that way before.
Right.
Jack, you've also got Tim ahead of Ronk.
Only due to we saw him. I wish that the Ronk ended up racing in London, but realistically, the past 2 times that we've seen Ronk in a major, he ended up winning. So it's hard to take that away from him just because he was inactive.
All right. Well, then it really sounds it's 3 versus 1. So I think that we've probably got it right here. Ronkovic first, Tim second, Hide third, Dylan 4th, Cole 5th.
Yep.
That's what it's looking like.
All right. Doesn't feel great, but feels good enough.
Never does.
Yeah, it never does.
All right.
All right.
On to the women.
The ladies. Yep. Just saving. Michelle up first again.
Do I go first again, or do we switch, Matt?
Nah, Michelle, you can go first.
Okay. I have for the 5th spot, Linda. 4th spot, Sinead. 3 spot, Vivian. 2, Lauren. and 1 Joanna.
Mine is similar, but I was undecided on 5th spot. I thought about Linda, but I'm going to go with Lucy Proctor in 5th. Then Sinead in 4th, Vivian in 3rd, Lauren in 2nd, and Jonah in 1st.
With unfortunate timing, Matt. Oh, no, he is back
Hit,
just in time to give his list.
hit the wrong button. You can just go ahead and copy and paste Greg's for me.
Okay, and I am going to throw a wrench in this. Number 5, I've got Saskia Millard. 4, Sinead Bent. 3, Vivian Tafuto. 2, Lauren Weeks, and 1, Joanna Wettrick.
I like this. I think let's start here. I honestly thought about going with a different athlete, Jack. But in this kind of the same thought process, I almost went with Alyssa McElhaney.
She was considered also, yeah.
In my 5 spot. The reason why I didn't was just because, and I'll let you make your argument for Saskia. The reason why I didn't put Saskia in mine is because she's unfortunate to have just missed the cutoff. So she's not going to get to race Warsaw. So we will not see her at World Championships this year on the solo side. She may still get in via doubles. And the reason why I didn't go with Alyssa specifically was we will see her in Warsaw, but I do want to see her compete in an elite field before I say that someone is a top 5 time. But I guess I'm mostly saying that to say that I'm with you and that I almost did something very similar. Those were the reasons why I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to note that we've had some extremely impressive times that we just haven't seen in the majors yet, and we undoubtedly will. So it's just, yeah, it's that impressive that it deserves some talking points for multiple athletes.
Yeah, my thought with Saskia is it was essentially the same exact course for Elite 15 and what she just ran, right? And
Yeah.
she ran over 30 seconds faster than Sinead. So the field is kind of lucky that she doesn't have the chance to race in Warsaw. Like
but I struggle with that argument because there's a difference between time trialing and racing, and who knows what.
But
who knows?
Did she only have 15 people to deal with, or did she have all the other people to weave in and out of also?
It's a completely different mindset in the major races, though, too. You know, like a lot of factors are at play when it's the top of the top, and the spotlight.
She also wasn't pressured by anybody.
Yeah,
I don't think her and Lucy were in the same wave.
That I don't.
I'm just saying, like, you get away from, it's different when you get away from somebody and when someone's breathing down your neck. Look, Saskia is the truth. And like, I think I led this show off. This is the same show where I said, if she focuses on this, are we looking at the next Joanna Wettrick? But like, I'm buying, if there is Saskia stock, I am buying it 100%. I'm always going to say that until I see someone do it in an elite race. Like, how many athletes have we seen throw down crazy times and then they get under the bright lights of the elite race and they can't replicate the performance? Is that likely to happen to a professional runner? No, but until we see it, you don't know.
And we have seen her in pro doubles, right? So, she's not a complete stranger.
Racking up penalties.
Yeah.
But she wasn't exactly timid. She went to the front right away.
Right?
I bet she would have done the same thing in the solar race if she was at Elite 15, because that's her strength. I know it's a lot of coulda, woulda, but it just stinks that she doesn't have a chance because of what day of the week she raced on to race in Warsaw.
I'll tell you what, I cannot wait for the day that we get to see an elite race where Lauren Weeks and Saskia Millard go out together.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
So just a point as well on the like the elite versus like the age group racing that she did. The judging is different as well, right?
Very
true. Are watched very, very closely in the elite races, and she is partial to a penalty. So whether I don't know. I weren't there. I didn't see it. I don't know how closely she was watched, but whether she'd have picked up some penalties if that race was in a elite solo, might have been a different story.
That's fair. You basically lived in London this past week, so
yeah.
I guess, yeah, okay, so that's Greg's. Yeah, okay. So has anybody been swayed to keep Saskia in?
Not at this time.
No, and I thought about it as well. I did think about it, and Alyssa and Rachel Wade, and like we touched on, that it's very exciting. And if this was predictions for the first major in next season, I think like this top 5 might look very different with how some of these women are coming on. Just don't think Saskia's done quite enough yet.
This has gotten kind of interesting because I'm just now realizing you can just lock in 1 through 3.
Yeah, there's no debate after
There's
that.
no debate on 1 through 3. So really the debate is there's
1 through
votes.
4 actually are identical.
Yeah, there's 2 votes for Lucy and 1 vote for Linda and 1 vote for Saskia. So it would really be, yeah. So that's actually probably what it comes down to is. So I guess the first question would be Saskia versus Linda. I did not choose either of them. I wouldn't probably not choose. Well, I wouldn't choose either of them. I would choose Lucy. But if we were debating this, I would have a hard time. Although I think that Saskia's, it's crazy. I can't believe I'm about to say this out loud. Even though I think that Saskia's ceiling might be higher than Linda's, which is wild to say for a reigning world champion, I'm not going to put someone who has yet to race an elite solo race over a staple like Linda Meyer and a reigning world champion.
I mean, I can talk to Linda because she's on my list. So again, these are getting more challenging as the field is more competitive now. But I thought that Linda's performance in Phoenix deserved this spot just because of the athletes that were in that race. She was behind Vivian, Joanna, and Lauren in that race, and not too far behind Vivian, about like 15, 16 seconds, I believe. So I felt like that performance skewed me more than the regional races recently. So that's kind of why I put her in there. I know that she also didn't race the regional race, but I do feel like she's still at the top. We know that she continues to get better and better as the season goes on. Former world champ, so it's just a reigning world champ. I just think that her ability at the elite level is still very high.
I did not put her on my list because I believe that I saw a post prior to the EMEA championship that the reason why she didn't race is because she was hurt. Greg, I don't know if you have any insight into that, but that was why I didn't, was because I believe she's dealing with an injury.
Yeah, I don't have too much in the way of details. I think there was some kind of injury going on. I don't know how serious it is, but it was a reasonably late withdrawal, like a few days before, I think. But I don't know the extent of it.
Yeah, I mean, Linda clearly, injury or not, like she's back. She went sub 60 pretty comfortably. I know that the top 3 women right now are probably they're probably going to be locked in until World Championship in those spots based on what they've done this whole season. But it's pretty easy to argue for Linda, especially when head to head she's 3-1 against Lucy, who ended up losing to Saskia. So I feel like Linda probably gets the edge out of these 3 women in the credentials or recent credentials.
I mean, why don't you guys talk about Lucy on your lists?
I went Lucy on my list because I felt like the direction that she was headed at the beginning of the season, she had some difficult health issues to start the year. She did really well in that Melbourne race that featured everybody except for Vivian. The women travel, whereas the men don't. Everybody was in that race except for Vivian. She took 3rd. And then she obviously pulled out of the elite women's race, but then came back a week later and dropped her first sub 60. So I think to me that she's obviously figuring something out. And so I'm projecting a little bit. This is where it's like subjectivity. I'm definitely projecting, but I just feel like she's gonna be top 5 at Worlds, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I'd probably put her mainly based on what she did in Melbourne. Like that 3rd place in Melbourne was very impressive, I thought, in a strong field. like Matt just touched on, she came back and did it in London when I don't think her health has been at the best it could have been in the lead up to that. And so she's still put in that performance like sub 60 in London. But yeah, it's really based on primarily that Melbourne performance. And I will admit, I was very close to putting Linda myself based on what she did in Phoenix. She does seem like a little inconsistent because the Melbourne performance wasn't there. Hamburg was okay. So I was very close to putting either of these. I could be convinced to put Linda, but I just think what Lucy did in Melbourne was particularly impressive.
Yeah, and Lucy's 7th place in Hamburg was a higher % of winner than Linda's 8th place in Melbourne.
Yeah, I think it was just maybe a concern because of not finishing up the individual race in the regional, but she came back and did they win officially the pro doubles, her and Sinead? So like
she did, yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously, you know, doing her first sub-hour race, like it just goes to show, like on the day, you can have an off day, right? Like for any of these athletes, that doesn't equate to your overall level here. So any of
I will
these
say though, the head to, I mean to Michelle though, the head to head is, it just hit me. 3-1 is pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know that I didn't really see that until literally 10 seconds ago, but now that I see it, I can't really unsee it.
That was what I was going to add in. Like, does the 3-1 head-to-head record matter? Does a recent DNF? I know that Dylan Scott had a bad race in Phoenix. He still finished and came back and then dropped a great
Can you
time.
put Sinead at 2?
Just to see her on the screen.
Just so I can see head to head. Or put her 5 since Saskia is not going to make the list.
Okay. Yeah. I've got him on there. Or her.
1-1.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. The other thing that I was going to mention is we haven't given any love to Sika Arning, or Ellie Stenfers, who could have also taken that spot. Where we're arguing over people who didn't even finish in the London Major, or regional championship. So it's kind of a bummer that they're not getting any attention.
Yeah, but I think that I think that the argument that we're effectively making is one of consistency. And I'm a believer that when it's Seka's day, it's Seka's day. But unfortunately, it's a coin flip on if it's going to be her day or if it's not. And if Ellie Stenfers comes into Warsaw, she gets a top 3 finish. I mean, maybe heading into Worlds, she makes that list.
I also am just kind of weighing the regional majors differently just because of the overall fields. Like, so that's why I have Linda in there, because Phoenix was all of the regions. You know, like I could have also argued like Morgan Scholes to be on this because of her performance at her regional, where she was behind both Lauren and Vivian. Same for any of the regionals at the EMEA. So it's tough because all of these are majors and they're all impressive performances, but I'm just kind of seeing as the entire all regions. So that's why I still have Linda, because that was Phoenix was not too long ago.
Greg, you are the voice of HYROX. You are the special guest. You are going to break the tie. Linda or Lucy for 5th?
It's so close.
They're gonna watch. Be so mad.
I've not been overly convinced by Linda. Like in your arguments, they're good arguments, but not convinced enough to change it. So I'll stick with Lucy.
All right. Lucy Proctor in the 5 spot, Sinead Bent in the 4, Vivian Tafuto in the 3, Lauren Weeks in the 2, and Joanna in the 1. How much money are you all willing to put down that this will be the exact finishing order, top 5 at Worlds? Because for me, I'm
It's a
willing to
toss-up.
put 0
Yeah.
down.
It's a toss up.
See, this is crazy because like I think that anybody who watches this is likely going to agree that this is the order, top 5. But I'm very confident this will not be the order at Worlds. This might not even be the order at Warsaw. I'm still not down and out on Lauren Weeks. I go back to Jack, what year is it? 2022, 2023, where it seemed like every single race, Farmers carries was like what got her. And it was like the storyline was like, well, she's not gonna be able to fix it. She's not gonna be able to fix it. And then she came out and blitzed him. And it like wasn't a problem again. And like right now, it really is just coming down to the sleds. And she still has 2.5 months. I just don't think that that's going to be. I don't think that's still going to be a factor.
Yeah, I mean DC, she was dominant. There's a reason why she's 2 ahead of Vivian. I mean Vivian, how many other women besides Joanna probably right now could even come close to hanging with Lauren in a doubles race? Like she's had some amazing performances, but you're right. Lauren does find a way to figure things out for championship season. All you see are 1, 2, 3 on her resume right there. All you see are now a bunch of 1s, previously a bunch of 2s for Joanna. So they're the obvious 1, 2 spots right now.
Yeah. And I like the ascension of Sinead. I think that, I mean, obviously this is not really exactly a hot take because we're talking about someone who's 4th, but I mean, I think that she's definitely a podium threat. She's actually beaten Vivian. So could happen. All right.
And Alyssa is a real podium threat as well. Like she will be racing in Warsaw. You know, she can qualify, so she's certainly a podium threat.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see her race.
100%. 100%. All right, Greg, what do we got on the Rocks Life this week?
The most recent episode is Morgan Schultz. I had a great chat with her, and then the next episode is going to be Gabriella Nakora Baker.
Awesome. Nice. Those are good episodes. If you don't already, please do us a favor. Go to Instagram. Give our buddy Greg a like and a follow. He's putting out great content on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure to support our friends. And I haven't done this in a while. Help us out. If you like the content that we're producing, give us a like, give us a follow. Clip me. Clip my craziest take and put me on Instagram. Go ahead and share it for the world to see. We would be forever grateful. We appreciate you all. Go ahead and make sure, if you're not already, subscribe to The Drop. Our boy Marcus is still cooking. We're up to like 40 volumes of The Drop at this point. So I'm going to have to get that man on the pod. He's got some spicy takes after this weekend. We might have to do an emergency Raw Debo pod. He was pretty fired up coming out of Houston. That's what we got. Next week, we will be doing, I believe it's Brisbane, right?
Is it
We're drafted again?
Somehow.
We're drafted again. we're gonna have to pull deep for this draft. Greg, did you get the call up? Are you headed to Brisbane?
I am commentating on Brisbane. It's not 100% sure where we're doing it from yet. It might be remotely that we commentate on it remotely.
Oh, interesting. That'll be good. All right, we did it. Let us know where we got it right. Let us know where we got it wrong. We appreciate y'all. Later.